Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Cornerstone Community Church. This is this week's video blog for September the 29th, 2014. Thanks for being with us today. If you're not familiar with our video blog, I do this blog once a week to kind of recap what I shared in my message on Sunday and talk about what's coming up in this week's message. We are in a series entitled Good to Great in God's Eyes. Last Sunday we talked about dreaming great dreams. And let me just say this once again. If we're going to be able to dream great dreams, if we're going to dream dreams that are beyond what we're capable of doing, then we have to think great thoughts about God. And that takes us back to my first week's message entitled Think Great Thoughts. And my first point in that message was that we need to think great thoughts about God. Because for too many of us, God is in a box. And if we don't get him out of the box, you can't possibly dream great dreams because you can't believe God to do great things. You can't believe God to do impossible things in your life. My premise for the message yesterday or on Sunday was that God delights to do impossible things through improbable people to impart his exceeding grace to undeserving recipients. That's a mouthful, I know, but if you listen to the message, you'll get it all. But let me just try to capsulize as best I can quickly. God delights. It's not God's duty. It's not his responsibility. He delights in doing the impossible, not the improbable, the unlikely, the difficult. God desires in doing the impossible through improbable people. Well, guess who qualifies for that? We all qualify for that, don't we? I'm an improbable person. I don't know how God can do some of the things that he needs to do, but he's chosen and he delights in doing the impossible through improbable people to impart his exceeding grace, his unmerited favor, so that undeserving people, that's you and I again, can get what we don't deserve. Is that an amazing God or what? That he delights in doing impossible things through us so that his grace, his unmerited favor can be given to people that don't deserve it. Well, we talked about how to dream great dreams, and I would just encourage you again to go over to the sermon page on our website and listen to that sermon or download a copy of it that you could listen to on a CD of your own. This week, I'm going to be talking about praying great prayers. Do you know of someone that you believe you would qualify them or describe them as being able to pray great prayers? If you do, I'll bet you think those prayers are great because there seems to be a, a level of intimacy that that individual has with God when they pray. It's like when they pray, God answers by their first name. I've had people like that in my life. There's a man that was in the church I grew up in years and years ago, years and years and years ago. His name was Luke Gray. And when Luke prayed, it was almost as if God was saying, "Yes, Luke, what can I do for you?" I mean, I love to hear him pray. And Luke prayed with authority and confidence and boldness. And when Luke prayed, you could sense he believed that God was going to answer those prayers. And as someone who listened, I believe God was going to answer those prayers as well. This Sunday, I'm going to divide this message into two parts because there was so much that I wanted to say. I just couldn't confine it to one week's message. So this week I want to speak to you about great prayers are deeply personal. Great prayers are born out of that deep relationship with God, that sense of intimacy. Again, that's why we look at some of those people and we say, well, they pray great prayers. And why do we feel that way? Well, it's because there's a level of intimacy that they have with God, a level that, frankly, for most of our lives is missing and something that we ought to desire and need to have. And so I encourage you to be here Sunday, and let's learn from some examples of the Bible about praying prayers that are deeply personal. And then the following week, excuse me, on the 12th of October, we'll finish up the other 4 characteristics, which I'm excited to share with you, but I'm not going to go into those now. I'll talk about those a little bit next week. Once again, service at Cornerstone begins at 10:45 a.m. But if you come at 10:30, we have a time of coffee and refreshments. I'd love to meet you. Come and introduce yourself to me, and let's have a cup of coffee together before we enter into worship. God bless you, and have a great day.